irritate me. She did.
Right.
She loved because I would get angry, and that just egged her on, of course.
Well, you didn't have a very even temperament.
Who would have one if you're working on a class project in your own room?
Oh, I knew you were going to tell it.
In your own room, and there's a single bed back there, and practically bare, orange grapes on my dresser. There's a skirt around it.
That's true.
And I set up a card table in there, and this is a homemade project, and you're making a notebook with poster board, light blue poster board for your cover. And I said, don't you dare come in this room, because you
don't cross the threshold.
Don't
cross
that.
Here.
That's my room. You stay out. So she goes to the kitchen and gets an ice cube out of the refrigerator. She's sucking it.
Sure, it wasn't a bottle.
It was an ice cube. She gets it liquid and she slings it. Well, you know what happens? The drop.
Just 3 drops on the construction paper.
All over the construction. My cover, and ruined. It's just ruined.
Mild
hysteria. I didn't scream at all.
Mild hysteria. Follows? Mild hysteria. You ruined Mom. You ruined it. What did Mother do? Not just said,
no, she ignored us, as usual.
Let us work it out. Now, the end of the story is she had an iris on the front. I do remember it because I had some bad feelings.
Your conscience hurting you all these years.
She had this iris on the front, and on the iris, to cover the spots, she put butterflies.
That's true.
Teacher thought,
that
ingenuity. Cover those dumb spots on this construction paper with butterflies.
She probably got 100+ on it.
Teacher thought it was the greatest thing that anybody had ever.
It wasn't all that good. I got
That's great. We are here tonight with the 4 Alderson sisters. Catherine, who was the oldest.
Uh-oh.
And she still is, that's right, hadn't changed a bit. And Peggy, who came next, isn't that right? Margaret Ann, who came next. And then we have Martha.
I was the sweet one.
The sweet one, that's right. You each had titles.
The neighbors gave us names. What were you all?
They did.
Every one of us.
I was Baby Jean, that's all I know.
Baby Jean and the sweet one and the, what were you all?
Smart one.
The smart one. Who was she? I don't know that I had a
name.
First one. She was
and I didn't have a middle name. Katie Neal said, why didn't you have a middle name? I never had a middle name, and I don't.
That's right.
Does everybody else have a middle name? Jane, what's yours?
Katie.
Oh, that's
Neal
right.
Said,
everybody had
Martha Louise.
And you're Martha Louise.
Why was Peggy named for Mother? Margaret Ann, and you weren't. Who were you named for?
I was named Margaret Ann for Mother.
Well, Catherine was an Alderson family name, you know.
Who were you named for? I know your name.
Louise.
Where's Martha?
Oh, she said she just liked it. Nobody was named Martha.
She was just ready for little Martha. Okay.
Little boy.
Okay, we'd like for one of you to tell us just a little bit about Mama's family, like her mother's name, her father's name, and on up the lineage.
Don't have to do that. I don't know.
All right. Genealogy. Mama's genealogy.
Our mother's name was Margaret. Her mother was Cora Alice.
Morton.
She was a Morton, yeah. She's a Morton. Her father was Samuel Joseph. Joseph Samuel? Which way you go?
Samuel Joseph.
Anyway, he was called Joe. And they lived in the country until Mother was...
About 2.
I thought she just started school. Yeah, she just started school.
was about 2.
Oh.
Okay, Mother was in grade school. And her name, she was christened Margie. When she came to town and started to school, she told them her name was Margaret.
Sounds like Mama.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, she was Margie.
She was one of how many children? 9?
10, but one of them jumped off the fence in the barnyard and stuck him down his foot and was
Roy.
And had
Roy got blood poisoning.
tetanus and died.
There would have been 10 children, yeah. So
Okay.
actually, our mother grew up in town, but it was still in the horse and buggy in grade school. Don't you remember she said that she just went to school when she wanted to, and they didn't make her go every day. Until finally somebody on the Morton side of the family said she's a smart child and you need to have her in school. And from then
She
on
always
she went to
did
school.
what she
Yeah,
wanted.
she always did what she pleased.
Tell us something we don't know.
Well,
And you
after that, she
wonder
went
why
to
we're
school.
like that.
Well, who was it that rode to school on horseback and took the lunch? You remember? And she dropped her lunch. Was that Mother or Daddy? She dropped her lunch,
I don't remember that
and
story.
she rode behind somebody.
That was Mother because
And she dropped her
Dad
lunch.
didn't go to school much.
To the fourth
And she
grade.
got to school. She didn't have her lunch in the sack because she dropped it off the horse. And they said, "Why didn't you tell us she didn't have her lunch?" And she was scared to tell them. But she dropped it off the back of the
I
horse.
don't remember that.
So they did ride the horse to school.
That was before they moved to town, I guess, when she didn't go much.
So, yeah.
And then I remember when she was lying in bed those last 2 years and she couldn't think of things and her mind wouldn't do what she wanted to. And she says, when you've had a smart mind like mine, you really do miss it.
That's right. I don't know if she did.
Oh, she was smart.
Oh, yeah, she definitely was.
She,
Oh, she was
What a
quite
great
a
dad.
Latin scholar
she
and
won a Latin medal.
won a lot of
Best Latin.
honors. She was a
Highest grade in Latin.
real good student. And she was a good homebody, a good mother. And when Jean started the first grade, she said, "I'm not staying home anymore." So she went
to work.
to the plant to keep books for Dad.
So she's a real liberated woman, huh?
She
I
was a
think she
liberated
was.
woman.
That's when you took over raising me.
And,
I took over.
What a
well,
job.
she went to, she used to tell me stories about how when she lived in Washington, D.C. during World War I.
Yeah, that was
That
Right.
her mom had gone overseas and she went to Washington to work for the war cause or
Yes, she
something.
did. She didn't stay long.
pretty good.
She made it
Yeah.
sound like
She
a
gave
lot
up
of
her
work.
job the minute
The war was over, and even though he didn't get home for a few more months, but she was here in Columbia waiting. She quit that job.
Oh, I remember about washing dishes. Don't you remember how we had to take turns washing the dishes at
Two and
night?
two.
2 and 2. 2 of us worked together, Peggy and me.
And Jean and
And I had
Kathy.
to do the morning run.
And I know one night Peggy and I washed those dishes so fast. Peggy was washing and I was drying, and we were just through in no time flat. So she came to check, and the dishes were all greasy. And she was so upset. I think I was still in the kitchen, but Peggy had gone to her room or gone to bed, you remember?
Oh,
And she went back there and got you out of bed and let us do the dishes again.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that. You don't remember?
I'll teach you.
I'll tell you one thing I want to ask. Do y'all remember Ms. Murphy's cow?
Yes.
Took it out.
Yes.
And you look out your bedroom, one of this cow be running by the bedroom.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
No, I
Who
don't.
ever heard of such a thing? You don't remember the cow running by the
Oh,
window?
yes.
Always that cow would get out of the
They had-
pasture.
Cows, and we got
Yeah.
Nobody thought anything of it?
Well, you didn't think anything about it. I guess they'd come down and get the cow.
Who was at home when old colored Uncle Adam was plowing with 2 mules in the back?
Oh, and it
of the
fell in the
garden? And
cesspool.
the cesspool, they were made with old locust logs. You dug the stick home with the locust logs over it.
Remember that?
And they'd rotted, and here go the horses
The
by,
mules
and
fell in the
the
hole.
mules, the 2 mules, and the
Oh.
mules fall down into the big
Right.
pit, can't be gotten out. And Highland Park School had been built up there, blocked
Yeah,
up the street, and
yeah.
they turned the school out for the children to come down and watch this big
Gosh.
event.
Bigger
Oh, I
Getting
remember
the mules
that.
out, and they think they finally got a record or something. And
I
they
remember
put those
Daddy trying to
mules
pull the mules out.
out. And it was a big event
I don't remember
of
that.
the season. When
Remember
the,
the sad? You remember the mules
I do
falling?
not remember that. I
and,
hadn't been
I
born.
remember
and the
that.
mules were not
Maybe.
hurt. They got them out.
I don't remember turning the school out, but I remember the mules falling in the cesspool because it was a big deal. Good night. I hadn't thought about that a long time.
I hadn't thought of that till a man in town says, "Oh, I was a little boy," and says I'll never forget that as long as I
Coming
live.
to your house.
He says they turned
Big
us
event.
out and said we stood around and watched them get those mules out there.
Oh,
He told me
how
all about it. He said that was one of the biggest events of his childhood.
Oh, biggest event of my childhood is when they came down and wet the streets down. We got run behind them barefooted.
Oh, yes.
That is-
Street washer.
Yeah, they had this kind of like well, it was a water wagon
The
because the
street
streets
in
were
front
not
of our
paved.
house, Highland Avenue, was not paved.
It was just dirt.
And in the hot weather, in the summertime, the city had this water wagon that
Sprayed out like
settled
a
the dust.
shower.
It sprayed water to wet the streets down. And we kids would run along behind it.
Which had to be terribly dangerous.
Well, of course
There
it
weren't
was.
any
But-
cars.
Nobody ever thought about
And we were behind. It didn't stop in reverse, so we were all
We just run behind barefooted or in our bathing suits or something and get all wet down, muddy and everything, but cool. I mean, really cool. And that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and remember, we just had one bicycle for all four of us, and one would ride the bicycle, and two or three others would on their skates
I
and
know.
hold on to the
You'd
bicycle
drive us, you'd
on
pull
the
us.
skates, and the one riding had to pull the
It
rest.
was a good night.
That was
I
fun.
don't think I got to do that.
You didn't.
I think I got to stay
You were
home.
too little.
Mother,
Yeah.
didn't you used to tell us stories about pushing Aunt Jean in the doll buggy? When she
Yes,
was
No,
baby?
my
Spelling.
story about the dog
Yes.
buggy. I was 6 years old at Christmas time. Am I 6 years older than you, Martha? Anyway, 4 years. I was 4 years old, and I got a dog buggy for Christmas for Santa Claus, and it had a real live baby in it Christmas morning. And for years,
I don't remember
for
that.
years, I thought
'Cause you were the
Santa
baby.
Claus brought me a baby.
I don't remember
He
them
brought me a
telling that.
baby sister.
But I can remember, I really thought Santa Claus brought me till I was a big girl.
We told you that.
You told me
You were-
that.
You were in that little dog buggy.
Well, somebody pushed me and turned me over. You don't
Yeah,
remember
that's
that?
the story I was.
That's what you're thinking. Somebody you pushed
I only
me and your
remember
dog
dropping you out of the bicycle basket.
Oh, the bicycle
That
basket. Oh,
must be
yeah,
what it
that's
was.
what it was. Okay, you dropped me out of the bicycle basket on my head.
So what's wrong with you?
Remember
Yeah.
that? Remember
Jean was about 9 months old, I guess, and I was taking care of her in the
True
front
story.
yard.
By then
And
you
I
were 6
had,
or 7.
that?
well,
Seven.
I was 8,
You were 8 by then.
and I was a big girl, so I was on the bicycle, but, you know, I thought, well, I can do that and take care of her too. And she was in the basket on the front of the bicycle, and she just tumbled right over. And I remember I got her to stop crying before I told it. I didn't want Mother to know
See, this
that
is-
I just let her fall out.
Wow.
It was in the grass, so
That doesn't count. Is that?
That's right.
so she's all right. Oh, I remember that. I was scared.
I got even with you though. I put that sparkler in your eye.
Yeah.
Oh,
We were not left at home very much to babysit ourselves. And Mother and Dad went to the. Well, no, the sparkler was at Christmas,
Right.
New Year's.
Right. No, everybody was out there on the porch. I was just swinging it around.
Dad had lighted the sparklers we got for Christmas, and she come swatting by and hit me right in the eye.
Mm.
Y'all don't remember that?
yeah, I do.
Oh, I
So
didn't
what
know
happened?
Oh,
I didn't know for 2 weeks whether I had an eye or not. It, you know, it blistered and it was frozen,
Oh,
and stuck it in her eye.
closed,
yeah.
Or wherever.
and it had to heal before I could open the lid.
It's pretty scary.
Ooh.
And you were a scared little girl,
I
I'll
was
bet.
scared too. Pretty
I mean, I
bad.
was thinking about the night you slapped me. We were babysitting ourselves, and Mother and Dad went to the movies.
Well, I don't remember that.
And I was, 13 or 14, and I wore rimless glasses back when it, and, you
Oh,
know,
that was all you could get then, I guess.
it was, and, you know, I was the oldest, and I was the boss. And Jean was the youngest, and she wanted the boss. And we got into it, and she hauled off and slapped me and hit me at the corner, and the glasses broke right there.
Ooh.
Hit my face right there, and I have a scar.
I
Well,
think you got
Amazing, you have an eye.
good eyesight after all that. I wonder what the argument was about. Isn't that strange? You never know. You know the end result.
I
about
probably
that.
told you to go to bed,
Probably.
and you probably said, I'm not ready. And, you know, I was trying to force it. And
How
Peg
does
was
that
probably,
change much?
Peggy was probably in her room studying. We
Yeah.
used to get so mad, she'd be back there studying, and we'd go some shopping or someplace. We'd come home and ask her if we got a phone call, and she'd say, well, I didn't answer the phone, it rang and rang. I didn't want to spend the call, I didn't answer it. That's as bad as if, you know, if I guess you
because it's been a little bit self-centered or selfish or something. But one summer I had this, I was in the 8th grade, I guess. And there was a swimming pool outside of town, Oak Park swimming pool, and so we made that for our first cousin, Bill Alderson, and the 8th Street Alley Cats. We were going to ride our bicycles out to Oak Park pool for the afternoon. And I had this little boyfriend down on 8th Street, Joe Tom Richardson. And so we were all, it was going to be my first, it was just an excursion.
Oh, I well remember that.
We well remember that. Mother told me, we ate lunch, and Mother said, "Peg, get up and serve the ice cream." And it was maple nut ice cream. It's the last time I ever sassed anybody. I said, "I don't like maple nut ice cream, and I'm not going to serve it."
Ooh, wait.
And she said, "Cancel your afternoon trip." That was it, and that was final. You're not going swimming.
Yeah, you didn't get to argue, that's for
I
sure.
didn't get
No,
to argue.
whatever
That
she
was
said
it.
was the rule.
And so the boys called, and Bill said, "Aunt Margaret, please let her go. Aunt Margaret, can't you just spank her and then let her go?" He said, "No." Well, I can tell you, I never did sass my mother again. I said, "I'll serve, whether I like it or not, I'll get up and serve it."
No, but you poured your milk down the sink. I can remember
Oh.
that. You don't?
Oh, we all did. I did
We
too.
have a tendency to forget
I don't
things,
think
so
I
we
ever
don't want
did.
to
I
hear
would
about
have
Probably
been
liked
scared
it,
to
but
death
I
to
poured
pour
mine
my
down
milk
down the
sink.
sink.
I don't
But
remember
she would
that.
walk out of the kitchen and leave us to finish our milk, and I guess our plate. Peggy would just get up and pour hers down the sink, and I can see you doing that now.
No.
Now, it
I
would
don't
scare me
deny it,
to
but I don't
death if she was
remember.
going to get caught. I wouldn't have done it for anything.
Oh, wait, no.
Martha.
No, I didn't.
I was the sweet
I
one.
hear about eating
You-
Thanksgiving storms.
It's on.
Mother raised chickens on the back lot. She had a hen house, and we had to go get eggs, and we had little chickens, and we had all this chicken business. And one year, I don't know how old Jean was, but she chose one of the little bitty chickens, and it was a pet. And she fed it, and it fed it. You don't remember that pet?
No, don't remember that.
Anyway, it came time to kill chicken for fried chicken. And she had a fit, Mother said, "We're going to have fried chicken." And she said, "Well, I won't eat any of it." And she didn't. But she sure did eat the biscuits and gravy.
Oh. And y'all ate my chicken?
And, well, you wouldn't want to have any of it. Yeah, we ate your chicken.
How
And she
awful.
said, "I'm not eating any." And she told Mother, she said, "I'm not eating any chicken, but I'll have plenty of gravy."
What was the chicken's name? I can't believe you ate the chicken.
Well, we did, yeah.
Oh, no.
But we had chickens every
Remember
year.
the dog Buddy?
Yeah, butter. Butter.
Butter?
Called her butter. Well, I was
That had the
three.
babies.
I could just say butter.
Yeah. She
Oh,
had
yeah.
How many? She had a whole bunch.
a bunch of puppies during the Depression.
Oh, y'all get your Kleenex. This is sad.
Well, you tell it. You know it better than
I don't even remember. I was 3 years old. I just remember Mother telling us she always felt so bad about it.
Yeah.
Daddy felt so bad about it.
Oh, he
He got
hated
up
it.
early. We didn't have
But
any
they
money
were
at all. And
real
he needed-
Hybrid,
They were
Rat
purebred
terriers.
rat terriers.
purebred
Oh.
terriers. They were. She was a sweet dog.
Yeah, she was. And Daddy was in the dry cleaning business, and he was out of supplies and didn't have any money to buy dry cleaning supplies. He got up early and took the puppies and took them to Nashville and sold them to a pet shop. I believe he still got $5 for them.
For each one?
No,
or
the whole
bunch.
batch. Is that
Oh.
right?
He
I
sold
never
them
knew
to
that.
buy some
He
cleaning
just sold
supplies.
And when he got home, and Jean so bad, where it's one that she loves so, and I guess he explained to her, and she started crying. She said, "But he was mine. That was my puppy."
And you surely didn't sell mine.
Oh, that must have
And
killed
that,
me.
it must have killed Daddy because he says,
Ooh, that's
He was.
awful.
He
I don't
was
even
I'll
remember.
make it up to her for the last thing I ever do.
well, he would have done anything for any one of us.
See, I don't even remember. I remember Butter, but I remember
The dog.
calling the dog Butter, the dog Buddy.
It
So
was
I
a
couldn't have
female,
been over
but she
3
was
years
named
old.
Buddy. And
And
They
I
were
remember
the
that
cutest puppies you've ever
story,
did
but
see.
that's the saddest story I ever heard.
Well, you cried for
When you
days.
got
I guess
up
we
that-
all
When
did.
we got up that morning, the puppies were gone, and
Well-
you said, "But surely you didn't sell
Oh
mine."
my! I'm glad Marty's not here to hear that.
She may hear it one day, though.
But you don't know how really hard it was during the Depression. That there were no
Let's
jobs
see.
for men at all, and I mean there were bread lines just to get something to eat here in America.
Dad couldn't make. I mean, it was very, very hard to make a living, and we had a hosiery mill that had started just a block away, and Mother served noontime meals to those workers.
No fast food restaurants.
Which,
then.
oh, well,
She
there
was
were no
fast
fast foods but to eat. That people took their lunch to work every day. But Mother served a hot meal at noon every day for those workers. She started out at 25 cents a meal, a plate, and a plate and a dessert. And
drink.
that fed us that whole winter. I mean, that bought our groceries.
Good night. And I must have been really little then. Well, it was during the Depression. I was under 3. If the Depression was 1930, 33.
But men
29 to 33.
men would come by. They were just trying to find work anywhere.
They would do anything.
They would come by the door, the back door, and say, "I'll do any. Do you have any work? I'll do anything for something to eat." And Mother never turned them away. She said,
I don't know.
she had food left, of course, in the borders.
They come to the back door. Old Black Joe. What did he do?
Jim.
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 Big Jim.
Big Jim.
He
He was the biggest.
he was the biggest
Yeah,
man I
tall,
ever
wasn't
saw.
he?
And he did yard work. He did any kind of work.
I just remember him coming to the back door and Mother handing him a plate.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
that too.
She always fed him, but
Big Jim.
finally she fixed a place on the back porch there. Oh, he could sit down and eat because I'd hang over there and watch. He could eat more.
Really could.
You know, he probably didn't eat but
Probably
once a week.
never had enough to eat.
He probably didn't eat but once a week, but he was so large. Had the biggest feet.
I bet we had to can all those peaches and
Oh, you remember peeling peaches and your
No,
arms
I had to
getting
stuff 'em
fuzzy
in
and
those
dripping
jars.
down your elbows?
Ooh, sticky stuff.
Yeah.
You had
And
to give
making
it-
grape juice.
well,
And you only got grape juice if you were sick.
I
If
know
you were
it.
sick,
Oh, you had to
could-
be
you could
sick.
have grape juice.
and then you, isn't that strange? I never drank grape juice
I
now, do
never,
you?
I never even wanted. But I did then. If I was sick, it was almost nice to be sick. Go to the
I
cellar.
showed in those little jars.
Had the little jars lined up on the shelf.
Yeah,
in the
grape,
cellar.
and then grape juice doesn't even make you well.
Well,
Of
no.
course it doesn't.
But that's when you got it, when you're sick.
That's the same as chicken soup today.
Yeah, yeah. We got grape juice.
But chicken soup's really good for you.
So is grape juice.
Yeah, I
They
guess
have to
it is.
differ with that.
Got lots of nutrients
Got
and
lots of,
sugar.
And it is good for you?
it absolutely is. It has.
You drink it now? I don't ever
I
drink
certainly do. If I have cola, I drink it.
it. Really?
Fruit
Well,
of the vine is very
we'll
healing.
start
Get me
doing
some
that.
grape juice.
Old
Fruit of the
folks
vine.
knows. Old folks knows. But that
Oh.
cellar, we ought to describe that cellar because you
Smell
went down
like-
the steps and it's a wood, a dirt floor and dirt
Smell
floor.
that now.
And at the far end, as you went down the steps and faces, it was, concrete wall, and Daddy baked shelves on it. And Mother canned all summer. I mean, there were cans. They weren't. You didn't buy 10 cans. I don't think back then at all. They were
Glass
just
jars.
Glass
in your home
jars.
can,
Mason jars.
mason jars, and by wintertime they would be canned all summer. And they'd be row after row, beautiful fruit. The peaches that we canned
Clear as a bell.
were
Oh, and
our
spice
hands were
peaches.
small.
You remember
Yeah.
with the seeds still
But you
in
remember, my hands would run into the jar. I'm sure you all did too.
Yeah.
And you would place them. You would
Yeah.
place the peach haze so that the outside
That's
was
right.
perfectly beautiful, and you'd layer them. And the jars were just a work of art.
I always had to wash the jars.
I
You washed them, you sterilized them.
Yeah.
I'd climb the
Oh,
peach
that's
trees and
scary.
bring in the peaches.
And I didn't
sit there and-
grandmother Hardison come out. Seems I remember her peeling peaches on the back porch there sometimes.
Eat all the neighbors.
We had a
yeah, Miss
lovely-
Holiday and Miss Murphy and everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody came to your house and did it. Then they go to the next house and then the next house, and everybody helped everybody.
You canned green beans, tomatoes, you canned all these things. And it was beautiful.
But we had Dad had lots of trees. He liked to grow things, and he did well for 'em. But we had a yellow cherry tree. ever heard of a yellow cherry tree. Because Peggy lived in it.
Peggy fell out of it.
Peggy
Way up.
fell
She
Oh,
would
my
climb
yellow
high
cherry
and
tree.
just sit up there and eat.
No, Mother sent me to go pick them, and I'd eat too, of course. But I got way up there and got
Super.
smart like I
And
am.
then she fell
Smart
out.
aleck like I am today, for instance.
Still.
And all of a sudden, I lost my balance, and down I went spread eagle and hit the ground flat back like you fell off the ladder. And it knocked the wind out of me so that I could not breathe. I mean, I wasn't hurt at all because I was a child. I guess my bones were. But it was the longest count time before my breath ever came, any breath, because I knocked every speck of air out of my body. But I wasn't hurt. Not even my
And
broken
nobody
arm.
saw you.
Did anybody come out and help
Oh,
you?
did they ever check on us? No, nobody came out to help me. But oh, that was the best cherry. We had a
They
They
were
were good
beautiful
cherries.
cherry trees.
Wonderful.
When have you ever
Gold-
seen a yellow
I
cherry?
never
cherries.
have again.
I think
Not
they,
anywhere.
in the jars now, the cans, they call them white cherries.
Yeah, well, that was a good cherry.
So we had in the corner, we had a pie cherry, the sour cherry. We had the yellow.
Yeah, yeah.
And the golden delicious apple tree.
We had about 5 or 6 kinds of apples. We must have had at least 10 or
We had
12 kinds of
raspberries.
Raspberries.
my
the
God.
whole raspberry.
Yeah,
God,
for
they
those
was picking those
raspberries. Who do I know?
But I do
They
still
were
like
good.
them.
Boy, are they expensive now.
They are.
Where we used to pick up a little basket. It cost you
Ben usually
$10.
picks me some every summer up on his
Oh,
ridge.
they do
Try
have
and make a pie for you.
She
I
showed
know
them to me.
raspberry pie.
Oh. Things
Well,
that
what
you
about
get.
Pop? What are some more stories about Pop?
He worked all the time. We never home.
The way he would come in from work,
though.
though, and when he hit the door, we would all 4 children would come running, and he would grab us up and toss us in the air, put us on his shoulder or something. He would, he was a loving
He
father.
took time to play with us.
Took time to play with us.
Oh, he loved
To
us very
go
much.
way back to, he was born, we called it way down in the country,
Turkey
but
Creek.
it was down on, below Santa Fe, called Turkey Creek.
Oh, Water Valley.
Well,
That's
kind of
between
between
Water-
Water Valley and Sawdust.
Mm-hmm.
Down, but it was just known
They
as
were
the
way
creek.
down in the creek.
In a log,
But
log
kind
house.
of a log house.
Dog trot between.
And his mother was named Tenny Pipkin
Yeah.
and Tenny
Yeah,
Pickens. His father, of course, was James Frank Alderson. Wasn't it? He was Jim. He was called Jim Alderson. And his mother died when he was quite young. We want to say 3 years old, but he might have been younger.
No, I was heard when he was born she died.
Well, you
believe
may
it.
be
I
wrong.
think it was when he was born,
Yeah,
because this
because
picture that I
when
just
he was
got,
two.
he's a baby in a white dress sitting in grandfather's lap,
Well,
and the mother's not there, and the rest of the family's lined up. So I
well,
believe
he
And
may
I
have
heard him
been.
because
tell
he
that
couldn't-
he was two
he was a
when
baby,
he got
not-
the new mother.
he was a baby
I
because
guess he was.
the way he was sitting. If I just brought that picture, you all seen that he's got to be under a year old sitting in
I
grandfather's
guess
lap.
you're right, and I was wrong on that. But his oldest sister was the one we called. Her name was Ida. We called her Auntie. And
She's the only sister.
she was his mother almost. So
But she must have been,
I thought she was
Teenager when
about
he
10
was
or
born.
12 or 13 when he was born. Because she took over the family. But the old man, Jim, married again right away. And then he had, 4 more children.
Mag, Bess, and S, and James.
But the set of twins, the twin girls, Bess and S, are the only twins I know about in the family. I may have been some.
But either he told, and he didn't talk much, so it must be Grandma Alderson that, we'd go down in the summer and stay with her, his stepmother, and
Stepmother
stay
Helen.
with her. And she must have told us this. Do you all remember that she would clean him up when he was a baby, and he'd run right out in the mud and get dirty again, and she'd have to clean him up again.
I don't remember that.
And you can see
Well,
her
he
side of
loved
the
dirt.
story.
He loved dirt.
Because she was having more children right away, and she was having to tend to this baby. And he said she spanked him a lot. And, he didn't like to go to church. And don't you all remember, he said he didn't go to church because his mother was so mean to him, his stepmother. But she went to church every Sunday. And then she'd be
I
mean to him
remember
all
that.
week.
I don't
Now,
remember
he's
that.
told that, or
in his
Yeah,
adult life. But he
right.
said
Mhm.
they were sitting in church every all Sunday morning,
Yeah,
but all
yeah.
week they didn't do right.
I have heard him
And
talk
he-
about the hypocrites.
And so
He didn't see that it did you any good to go to church.
You could be
But-
good without going to church.
Back to his mother's name, her mother was named Catherine, and that's where we get the Catherine in the family.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's right.
But in the records that I have, it's spelled with a C the way Katie Cowsley spelled it.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah. I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
look
sad.
that up if Debbie has it and
Uh-huh.
make Amy a copy of that history.
Well, we need to back up to their first child, too. Their first
Well,
two, but
mother-
their very first child was a boy,
Right.
their only boy.
And he was
who
stillborn.
knows why. There was something about the telephone wouldn't work, and they couldn't get a doctor soon enough, or he would have lived if he'd had
They
doctor's
thought he might
care.
have lived,
But he was born at home.
we all were.
Yeah,
And
back
they-
then
we all
everybody was
were.
born at
That's
home.
And they
the way I
didn't
heard
know
it.
what to do. Well, I may be confused. Let's hear your side.
He was born prematurely,
Yeah.
Maybe.
and they had they put him over in the crib, but because he was premature, they waited a day to bathe him and clean him up from the birth. And they said that when they bathed him,
That's right.
he took
I heard
cold
Mother tell
and
that.
died, and that if they had not, if they just let him
Just
swallow,
wrapped him up.
wrapped
and
him up
so-
and not shocked his body, that he would have survived.
Mother and Grandma Hardison, her mother, bathed him.
Yeah, and that's when he took
And
the.
they wrapped him in a
Oh,
little, and put him over there by the fire. I've heard her say that.
And just think that was their only boy. Then there were 5 more. The next girl died before
the
Catherine.
next girl was stillborn. She
Yeah.
Yeah, she
she
was
had
still
been-
on.
The
yeah,
first
she never
baby was very premature, like
6 months I understood,
Uh-huh.
and nowadays there would be no
Yeah.
problem in saving
Right.
the baby. But back then, of course, they didn't know about incubation. They really didn't know not to bathe the child,
right.
just to handle him carefully. And you just didn't know things back then.
you know too much.
that.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, that made me so precious.
Yes.
Yeah.
You was the precious one, I guess, not the first.
Yes,
not
I
the
was
first
precious.
Well,
one.
I'll tell y'all right now, Catherine was always Daddy's favorite. We all knew that. don't you know that?
All this time I thought I was.
No, on
Catherine
Sundays,
his favorite?
on
Catherine was
Sundays
Daddy's
when he
favorite.
was tired and wanted to take a nap and yet we wanted to go for a drive, y'all would egg me and bribe me. They said, if you ask him, he'll take us.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Time and time
No, I
again.
did
If you
not
ask him,
remember
he'll
that.
take us.
I did not remember
That's
that.
right, 'cause
And I did.
I was certainly nobody's favorite. 'Cause
Oh,
I was a
he's
brat
not
because
supposed
You were
to
the
be
brat.
honest.
Martha came along so
Fast.
close
So fast.
behind me that
Yeah, you
We
were
were
much.
just
I didn't get
19
any
months apart.
attention. I really didn't even learn to talk plain. That's back to the.
Oh,
they
you
said
used to ask for
well, they say I just point to what I want and wouldn't even talk, and then I
Well,
would
Bob,
pronounce the chickens were chickens.
Oh,
After a
I
long
remember
time,
you
I could
saying
say chicken. I
chicken.
said it was chicken.
Yeah.
And Mother had those chickens, and I love chicken until to this day. And
Yeah, you'd say
they said they were going to sell some. She had so many, she was going to sell some. And I said, and I came and I said, please don't sell any of our chickens. And they thought,
Sure
any
we
of that
could. Well, we
information.
need to go in there and see how authentic. I mean, I know it's authentic, but what
If it's
you know,
readable.
if it's readable or copyable or what we remember about it. I mean, who's what, but there's a good bit of information in there.
I've never seen it, but I remember, and I really love
It's up there in that front bedroom forever, where Bob and I used to sleep when we'd go to Columbia. We'd go in that front bedroom. And there was that Bible, and I used to, sit up at night sometime and read stuff. It's not that much, but there's 3 or 4 pages in the front. So that was kind of good. But now, here's what we really remember, is pushing that old car to school.
Oh, yes.
instead of leaving the car at home and walking home to school.
But we push it up the hill, though, and we'd
That's
always
right.
jump
Always
in
jump.
and coasting
Yeah.
down the hill. Mother would
That's
clutch
right.
it, and it would catch.
Yeah.
Go, what was wrong with that car?
It just didn't like the starting margin. Oh, Willis Knight.
It was a Willis Knight touring car. It was a big old thing.
heavy thing, and all
Mother
Well,
would
we
hear
all
all the
holidays
neighbors.
too.
and
Oh,
their
my
journey.
Good.
They'd be about 7 miles piling in. We'd all get behind it and push till we got to the top of the hill. We'd all pile in.
And then we jump in.
two
That was
hills to go down.
dangerous in itself to jump in cars while it was
While they're
rolling.
rolling.
Mother put in gear and they
We won't tell this part to Thomas.
Yeah.
But we didn't
Yeah.
jump in while it was rolling. She'd get to the top of the hill, and we'd get in, and she'd have a foot on the brake till we got in, and then she'd take
It
the
was
foot off,
all-
and here'd go the car on and pick up speed as it got down the hill, and then you'd roll to the next hill. And you could roll it all the way down the
Yeah, we
pass.
had a double
Oh, yeah.
hill there.
And she'd
Level
clutch
out
it a
and-
few times and cough and get going, so then we'd all go good.
That is so unthinkable. And then we let us out. She never takes us to school. And to school, she'd let us out on the main drag, and we'd walk that. You know, we'd just go down one road, and we'd walk the last
The
two
last
blocks
two
down
blocks.
there. And then we went to high school. I guess she took us to high school. I can't remember that.
But
I
think-
rode the bus some.
Think about, well, they didn't have buses in my day. And you think about that we walked home when school was out, from the first grade on.
Sure.
And you'd walk from almost downtown,
Yeah.
from Andrews School. You would cross U.S. Highway 31 as a 6-year-old
Yeah.
and cross,
It wasn't heavily traveled.
but it was so, it was very,
Oh, and we crossed the railroad tracks, and remember, sometimes we'd crawl under trains. I did that.
To
didn't
keep
you
from
all?
going through the rat hole.
To keep from going through the
Oh,
rat
I
hole.
would
You
go
could
through that rat
under.
hole.
What was the
They
rat hole?
did. It
What
went
was the
under
rat
there
hole?
on the
Underneath
tracks.
Pass.
dug
It
under
was
past before you went
Oh,
down
There
the-
was a tunnel that went under the tracks. It was all cemented and
for pedestrians.
it
Cross.
was nasty.
Hell,
And I
bad
think
tramps
Mother and
lived
Daddy,
down there.
maybe they told us not to go under the trains. The trains would be sitting there. They could have started up. We didn't know. And I can remember crawling under
But you
those
had to
trains
walk
to the other
blocks
side.
extra if you didn't go that way.
Yeah, if you didn't crawl under the train or go through the rat hole.
I think I ran through the rat hole.
Rat
some.
hole
I
is
didn't
fast as you
nasty.
could.
I went to the rat hole sometimes, and I, like you say, I would run. I'd hold my nose and take
Oh,
a
yeah.
Yeah.
It smells so bad.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, it
you
smelled
wouldn't
like
let
a
your child go through there. They
outhouse and be waiting in
That
that
closed
hole.
under, I guess they plowed
No,
it
honey,
under.
it's still wide open.
Are you serious?
No, it's got a few little planks that you can climb over like a fence just in front of it.
Oh, wait.
But when Buddy bought the depot, he told me to draw the deed and cut the deed off short of that deed because he didn't want the liability of it.
No,
It's
that
still
right.
there.
Oh, my word.
Well, I can tell when I was way up in high school and I was allowed to date, but you had to be home first, I guess, at 10 o'clock, but you wouldn't dare come in after 11, but you could come in and sit in the living room for a little bit. And that little sister would still be up. She lived in the we slept in the front bedroom that came off of the living room. And if she hadn't gone to bed yet and I had a date, we would sit there, we might be talking, and you look around, and a card table would just go sliding across the back of the room.
Anybody
Your
could think.
date would say, what in the world is that?
I had on my nightgown, I'd be sliding behind that card table so you couldn't see me.
Of course, I think she got behind the card table just to listen.
She
Yeah.
liked to listen on.
Oh, yeah. She knew everything that went
Which
on.
leads us to when I had the first dance at CMA. And Mother took me with this really nice young man from New York. And so Mother took me to Nashville and bought me this beautiful ice blue satin dress with big puff sleeves. And it was a pretty dress, and I really thought I was dolled up. I was singing in high school, of course. And he got a cab, and I had never had an orchid. And so he comes in with an orchid, my very first orchid. And I was really dolled up, you know, I thought I was anyway. And who would ever thought that Jean was behind the couch?
Oh, dear.
And he walks in and hands him the flower, and he says, "Oh, how did you get so beautiful?"
Oh.
And the next morning at breakfast, we sit down at breakfast, and she sits down, she says, "Oh, how did you get so beautiful?"
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
That's a direct quote.
I don't remember that. Things like that you block
You just
out of
block
your
out.
head. Block those things out. Oh dear, it's too bad y'all left home before I started courting.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
have gotten even with me.
Well, we
I
didn't
don't
do
know
the
Well,
way-
but see, now wasn't it
I
Kathy that tried to get
I
even with
tried.
you, though?
Kathy tried, but she got a late start.
She wasn't good enough.
Got a late start.
Let's just say that Jean was always creative from the day one.
No, that was.
still is.
And the more I fussed about her bothering me, the more
Oh,
come on it was.
I think the worst
Encouragement.
thing that even that I think is bad now was when you went to college and you were so homesick. And she wrote,
that's the worst
and
thing you
she
could
said,
have
if I could just have the mother, I missed home so bad. And
Sunday morning.
if I could just have the crumbs from the table. So I promptly raked off all the crumbs and
What
dried
about
up
chicken
box,
skins and an empty chicken bone? Dried up green peas.
mailed them to Knoxville.
And you go and
That is pretty bad.
and the dormitory, the big post office is down at the bottom of these little
Oh,
brass
that's
boxes.
awful.
You get your mail in that, and you could get a package. They put a little slip in there, package. You have to walk around the back to get your package.
Everybody is there to see, what did you get in the
Because
mail
you share
from
your
home?
cookies and things, and I go and get my package, go up to the room and unwrap this nice package, and it is this horrible, dried up mess.
It's awful.
I can't believe that.
How did I mean, I
can't
went to the
believe-
post
How did you
office
live so long?
myself and mailed
I'm
that.
surprised you're this old.
That's really cruel. I mean, I don't know what, I'm
I
sorry.
was asking her that. Well, y'all forgive me. But it was so funny. I have gotten many a good tale out of that.
That's just
honey.
awful anybody to do.
But it was pretty creative. I mean, I was 5 years.
You said you wanted the crumbs on the table. I thought that's what you wanted.
And
Send them to
This
you.
is the thing about
Careful what you
5
ask
years
for.
difference. Then it's not. Now it's not so much. But 5 years in, see, if I was a senior, she was in the 7th grade, and from then on, and so, and I had bugged her enough that she was willing to. She never missed a chance to bug me, and that was a low blow. But I'll tell you, the next day there was another package in my box, and Mother had sent me some real cookies.
Yes, Mom.
I guess you
I
told
would
me
rather know
what you
that
were
I
doing.
surely she punished me.
Well, of course she did. Did she help any of your prize?
Yeah, she let you do it, and then she sent the cookies. That would make it all.
She knew you'd send them, and so she sent the cookies the next day. They were good.
I don't know. See, I don't remember any of that.
It
Some of
happens.
those things just get right up.
Oh, you've done so many such worse things since then. You don't
Yeah, I've done
remember
some
that
pretty
one?
bad things.
Well, we'll have to tell one Tom and Bunny joke, and then we'll quit.
Yeah.
Not really a joke, I guess. Most embarrassing event for Bunny and me. We came home the first Christmas after we were married in June, and so everybody came home for Christmas, and you and Tom were there. And Bunny and I got the front bedroom, and I don't know which bedroom you all went in. Well, I had taken a cold, and you know the remedy for a cold was hot lemonade. You take a hot lemonade and go to bed.
Right. Oh, yes.
So Mother fixed the hot lemonade and sent us off to the front room, and we sat there on the edge of the bed. And I was drinking the lemonade, and lo and behold, the slat stopped.
Oh, I remember that.
Every one of you
That was the biggest noise.
Oh, you'd only been married about 6 months. Married
Yeah, we've been
June,
married
that was
June to
Christmas.
December, the first Christmas home.
Tom wondered what they were doing.
Tom came straight up out of his room.
What
He
are you
came
doing up
barreling in. All right behind him. I don't know where you were. What's going on in that bed?
I've forgotten about the slats. That used to happen.
Yes.
Oh, it happened frequently.
Oh, slats.
Well, I thought you were going to say
How
that
awful.
Uncle Tom took them out of the bed. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that bad.
No, he
I
had
had not thought
not.
about that.
He had not worked with the bed. He just.
Well, he got the biggest kick out of it. Well, he came
Well,
flying out
when
of
we
his
got
room.
married, and we had not planned to come back through Columbia from our honeymoon, but we took a wrong turn, like you girls know how to do. And we came through Columbia for the weekend, and we were going to spend the weekend and go on to Knoxville, where we had an apartment. And Tom didn't have any sisters, and of course he didn't want to stay at his mother's. She wanted to stay there, but he wanted to stay where the action was. Everybody went to bed, and Jean was not married, and she probably came in late from a date anyway,
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, but she waited till everybody's in bed till she went to the bathroom. We only had one bathroom. And Tom, being new in the family, thought he couldn't go to the bathroom until everybody was in bed. So he started down the hall to go to the bathroom. And Jean's coming from that sun porch out there to go to the bathroom. And she is scantily clad.
Oh.
Thought everybody was in bed. Tom forgot he had to go to the bathroom. He came flying back to bed, and he said, I'll tell you right now, if this ain't gonna work, let me know, because I want Jean before she's taken.
Oh.
I said, how ugly.
He didn't think so.
Well, I didn't tell that much.
I do remember running into him in the hall. I just said,
Well, they were
"Oh, man,
both
it's
so
wrong."
scared they forgot they had to go to the bathroom.
We met right there at the bathroom door. I can't believe, I mean, I don't know why I didn't have a robe or something. I guess I just used to run around in panties and
We
bras.
were all girls. We were all.
When you send a boy around, that's right.
Every time.
And see, Peg and Bud had their own house. You didn't see
Yeah.
it, but
You missed out on all the night
so
fun.
you know, Tom was ready for whatever happens in families. He
He got
didn't know about
excited.
families.
Oh, well, that was the good old days. That's as they say, the good old days. That's probably enough.
Yeah.
Tell us questions.
Get that thing.
That's right.
It's on. Go for it.
Tell us about that skinny dipping.
My best friend in high school was Mary Frances Lovell, and she was an only child, so she loved to stay in town. She lived 6 miles out the country, and of course I would go to her house and stay the weekend. And this was in April, so it was just kind of warm. But we had gone. She learned to drive first, or she was allowed not to drive on the road, but we could drive down through the pasture. And anyway, beautiful day. We had the car, her mother's car, and we drove down by the creek. And she said, "Catherine, I dare you to go in the water." I mean, you know, we had on our school clothes. She said, "Let's go for a swim." We took off our clothes
In the broad daylight.
in the broad
Oh
daylight
my God.
and jumped in. There was a pool, a little swimming pool. We had a nice swim, put our clothes on. But I had long hair, and it got wet. And when we got back to the house, her mother said, "Where have you girls been?" We said, "Oh, you know, riding around." Went down to look at the horses. She said, "You have been in the creek." How do you know we've been in the creek? Well, you know, she caught us right there. My hair was wet. She said, "You didn't have any swimsuit." She caught us. I mean, she let us have it.
Isn't that funny? And really was totally innocent.
Well, the
And
one
there
I sold was
nobody
in Miles.
But you just didn't do things
Well,
like
girls
that.
didn't usually do that. Boys did stuff like that.
Love it.
You know, my friend said, "Well, we just went skinny dipping."
Ooh, in the broad daylight.
You know, we just went skinny dipping. We did, but she said, "Kevin, you would get your hair wet. And I said, you splashed it." You know. But we stayed good friends. We're still good friends.
Still good friends. That's cute.
We did a lot of sneaking around because her boyfriend was my aunt, and she wouldn't.
Was your
She didn't approve of.
Oh, her boyfriend's mother.
Was
your aunt.
Was my aunt, and she didn't approve of the courtship. But
They
they
went
got
on
married,
anyway,
and they've been married
50.
55 years, so
Mm.
pretty good.
It stuck, huh?
But he had to slip, you know, to
date
date
her.
her. And of course, she'd be at my house, and of course, he wasn't allowed.
That's terrible.
He had to do a lot of things
Today's
to
her.
get to see her. But,
What ain't they to do when they married?
well, she couldn't help it after he had finished high school, and he had had 2 years of college, and he had enlisted in the army. See, it was that time of
So they married and they were of age, weren't they?
they were of age.